Welcome back to Milton Mo Junction, update 34. Talking of which, I did have a quite a hard think about whether to call this Milton Mo Junction anymore, but it seemed a shame not to, because the YouTube channel's that name. I've got this little placard that was a present, and although it's not really a junction, I suppose it could be argued it was two branch lines coming together, but I think I will keep it the same, just for the sake of continuity. Right, moving on. I've done a lot since the last video. I've pretty much laid all the track. All the points are now working that have been laid, and I'll quickly show you the diagram on the ECOS. So that is the whole layout, and every single point you can see there is wired in. It's either motored, as I showed you in the previous video, with a built-in motor, or I did have a couple of manual points, and I've put seat motors on those. In addition, I've also, every single point has got an individual frog juicer attached to it, so that all the frogs are now live, and there shouldn't be any shorts on that. What I've done is, as you can see on this diagram on the ECOS, the whole track can be seen, apart from two tracks now going into the low-code depot, and at the moment there's just little emblems, but that takes you to the depot. Obviously I haven't laid any track in there yet. That takes you back. I've got a choice. I can either have it as a separate page, or I might remove some of this track here and then just put the tracks here. Depends how much I lay. But as I say, on this side all the track is laid now. So there's two tracks that can be continuous, and I'll show you that in a minute. Two tracks that go into a station, dead end, and now two tracks that go into the depot. The depot is the only thing I haven't done yet, and I'd like to get that sorted pretty quick, but I need a bit more track, and I can't seem to get hold of any flexi track at the moment. Once I've done that and laid out the track as I want it, I can perhaps start cutting down the area here. And once I've done that, I can then start tidying up a bit more, get rid of some of the heavy duty tools, and start tidying up completely. But anyway, as you can see, this is the goods yard side. That's all the tracks there laid, and all the points, as I say, are now working and live. The goods yard up here isn't quite completed. Again, track shortage is causing a bit of a problem. There's three lines here. I haven't really decided what to do. I think one will be a dry goods yard with building. One will probably be a coal yard, and one might be oil. And haven't really decided yet. But as the trains come in, they can be separated down here, and it can be used as a sort of shunting puzzle. But what I have done, I've got a complete line that goes around the whole loft now, just a single line, although obviously on this side it splits to two, we've already talked about, and there's a point over there behind that little wall. I built the wall because the track's so close to the edge that I know if I have a derailment it's going to be there, and I don't want an engine or carriages or anything falling off. So that's just there to protect it. It won't be seen. It will be behind other back scenes when I've finally finished. But anyway, they come round here, split into the two lines for the platform, and continue along there. And again, as I think I've already shown you, going to a single point down here, and then goes round back again. So that's all completed. What else? Oh yes, I've built a new little desk here, a little bit bigger, gives me a bit more room to do some work on, and that's all been built. Just finished that yesterday. And what else? Done a bit of tidying up, but a lot of it depends on getting this work completed on the depot, because a lot of the tools here, which I've just put all underneath here at the moment so I can find them, won't be required. So a lot of those can be taken back down to the garage, and of course that leaves room for some of the stuff that's laying around, and some of those boxes with electronic bits and pieces in it can go on the shelves down here. So gradually it's getting tidied, but it can't all be done in one hit. I'm trying to think what else I was going to tell you. Just give you another look around the layout. I've started unpacking some of the wagons because I needed to know whether they get buffer lock going around the curves. And as I said before, coaches, I've used a couple of coaches there to check for buffer lock. All the curves I've got obviously are a big enough radius, and we're talking really about the two curves here and at the other end, and the single curves at each end here. As I mentioned before, they're supposed to be, there seems to be some sort of discussion about whether they need to be 5 foot or 4'6", but I've done them so that they're a minimum of 4'6", probably average out to about 4'9", but everything seems to go around there perfectly okay. And that's it for a minute. I'll have a little think and come back what else I've done. Yeah, I just remembered, I changed this slightly. I added an extra point in here. I had intended to make perhaps 3 lines down here for something to do with the depot, because as I mentioned, I can't get so many lines in the depot, so I had a bit of space here, decided to use it. But what I've done now is I've put a point there going this way, and that now runs into the depot. It does mean I'm going to need to put a corner piece in here. This is not the right angle, obviously, because carriage or engine would hit the upright, but that's got to be sorted. I've got 2 points ready to go. One is a manual one, which will need a seat motor underneath, but I'll lay it in such a way here that it's very easy to get at, so that will be absolutely no problem at all. And this one here is one of the original points with everything built in, so I can pretty much put that where I like. This setup here will give me 2 entrances into the yard, into the depot, and at the minimum of 4 lines. The furthest 2 I might have as the old steam depot. As I mentioned, I think again basically because I like a bit of coal and steam and coal, even if the main layout is not steam and coal. At least I can have a track. I'll probably have at least 1 engine, so that will be a depot for it. But certainly the furthest line, the nearest one I could use for diesel or coal, so that doesn't really matter too much. Diesel or steam rather. So I've got to lay this out. I'm going to probably build it out a little bit further to the end of that bit of wood you can see. Put a board on there, and then that probably means that I can do away with this bit here, cut along here somewhere, so I've got a bit closer access into it, so I don't have to keep ducking underneath to get to that side. So that's still to be done, and as I said, that's the last real major bit of construction, so a lot of the tools can go. Apart from, of course, building the back scenes and tunnels, etc., bridges that I need to cut off this sort of area to separate it, but we'll come to that when we get there. Two things I've purchased, or a few things I've purchased since before. One is obviously to do with the layout. It's this O-gauge car. I bought this one for a couple of reasons really. One is I wanted a car just to check the size so that I could get the width of roads, etc. And I saw that one and I thought I'd buy it because that was actually the first car I ever owned. A Ford Anglia. It was all white, but that is not too bad being blue. But I thought I would do it, just as I say, for measurements really, to see what size roads and that I would need. The strange thing is I had some cars for the O-gauge, German O-gauge. They're all German cars, but or lorries. But I always thought they were 145, which was the German gauge. But in fact, I think most of them, if not all of them, are 143, so I could actually use those anyway. So that's a bit of extra, a few extra vehicles I didn't think I'd have. Other purchases, I bought this from Rapid Electronics. It's just simply an extractor with a filter. I used that, it was about, I think it was £18 something, and a couple of spare filters with it. It's for soldering. I used to do soldering up here, and the fumes would always go up my nose. Tried holding your breath, but I suppose it's not particularly good for you anyway. But being a confined attic, especially in the winter when you don't want the windows open, I saw this advertised and I thought it's real good buy really. So you just stick that on, put the fan on and do the soldering, and you can watch all the fumes going into it, and instead of smelling like you've been soldering up here, you don't notice at all. That's the first thing. And the second one is a recommendation from Hovermotion actually. It's this light. I won't go into it too much because he's already mentioned it all on his channel, but it's absolutely brilliant. It's a rechargeable light, LED light for working underneath the baseboards, and it throws out so much light. It's absolutely incredible and so useful. So I bought that as well, and that was from Screwfix, and I think it was just over £20. So that was a real good buy, and it's, as I say, it's rechargeable, throws out fantastic light. The battery seems to last for ages, and in fact all the time I've been using it underneath here since I bought it the week before last, I think it was, it hasn't needed charging at all. So all in all, it's coming along really good. One thing you might have seen it when the camera's shot past it, but that little bridge there, I bought that from the same guy I bought the station buildings from. So that's a ready built O-gauge footbridge, and everything piled on it is little seats for platform seats, so they can go on the platforms when they're built. So yeah, that's about it I think. I've bought a few more wagons, but I think the SO one is a new wagon, but yeah, I mean they just really, I just needed some to run round to see that they don't lock, and also do some measurements in the goods yard. So now I've built a lot of the goods yard, I shall get a lot more wagons out of the boxes, put them on there and see how many more I need. I don't want to overdo it because I won't be running long trains, so I don't need lots of wagons towed behind it, but it'd be nice to have a few different wagons and a few of each. I've got a couple of guards vans now, so it's starting to build up. I need some more coaches, but again I'm waiting a little bit to get the right coaches, and as I say, I don't want to overdo things and overstock myself, which I tended to do a bit for the last 00 gauge layout. So yeah, I'm quite happy with just progressing slowly on this one. So there we go. So that's about it for this update, and thanks for watching. And if you want to subscribe, please do, and of course comment if you want to as well, and I'll try and reply to most of the comments, or if not all the comments actually. But anyway, bye for now. Thanks for watching. By way of a bit extra, I meant to show you a complete circuit of the layout, how it works. So as a bit of an extra, I'll give you a quick demonstration. Well, there you go. That's a little demonstration over. I won't go through all the ending palaver again, so you all know the drill by now. So thanks for watching. Bye for now.